Why was my Chevening application rejected is often one of the questions that unsuccessful applicants for the Chevening Scholarship ask themselves after their application has been rejected. If you are someone who applied for a Chevening Scholarship in the last application process and you didn't make it and you're wondering what went wrong, this video is for you. Keep watching, because in this video I will be sharing with you some of the reasons why applications get rejected by the Chevening Scholarship program. Welcome back, guys. This is Delphine Konda. You all know that we are at the end of July, so August to November every year the Chevening Scholarship program opens its application process. So for the very first video in this series, I would like us to talk about why some Chevening applications get rejected by the scholarship program. The very first reason is that you probably did not answer the questions well. The first part of a Chevening application is to create a profile where they are going to ask you some information about your biometrics and just some data collection kind of questions to know you properly, to know about your profile as an applicant. Most of those questions have a yes or no answers and you have to just tick them. Sometimes the way these questions are phrased, you might actually be ticking a yes when you are supposed to be ticking a no. So my advice is, if you are applying again, try as much as possible to go through that particular profile questions, the first stage, and make sure that you answer them correctly. Check them over and over again before you submit them. Don't click submit when you have not reviewed, you have not tried to understand what the questions are about. The second thing is that the eligibility of Chevening, you must come from a Commonwealth country. Go to the Chevening website and make sure that your country is eligible for the scholarship. If you are not a citizen of the countries that are eligible, you definitely get rejected for the application. You should also watch out if you have dual citizenship. It is important to know if you have dual citizenship in 2 African countries, for instance, you are eligible. But if you have dual citizenship from 1 African country and then maybe from the US, then that is an issue on its own. You are not eligible. So please make sure that you ask questions. There are tons of ways you can ask questions. You can go to the website to review the questions that are frequently asked. You can try to talk to an alumni from your country. You can go to the Facebook pages of the British High Commission in your country and ask those questions. Ask questions, it will help you a lot. The third thing is that Chevening requires you to have 2 years of work experience. Now, the issue is that many people don't know how to calculate the work experience. There's a whole mathematics that goes into this process. When you are filling your Chevening application, when you create your biometric, your profile, and you're filling out your biometric data, they are going to ask you where you have worked and how many years you work. So you have to make sure that in total, it has to be 2 years, whether it's an internship, a voluntary program, or a paid job opportunity. In total, you have to work for a minimum of 2 years. So if, for instance, you are working 35 hours in 1 week, you have to calculate 35 hours in a week times 4 weeks, which will make 1 month, times 6 months, depending on the duration that you have worked. But definitely in this series, I'm going to make a whole video about this. But the reason why I'm bringing this point is that some people don't know how to calculate how long they have worked. They either under calculate or give an unrealistic number of hours that they have worked, and that makes Chevening to reject your application. For instance, you can work 35 to 40 hours in 1 week, but you cannot say that you work 350 hours in a week. How now? How can you work 350 hours in 1 week? It is not realistic. So you're definitely going to be rejected. Sometimes people don't even try to lie. It's not like they are lying. They just make an error and they didn't cross-check or review their answers before they click the submit button. Maybe you were trying to write 35 and then you punched 350, you added an additional 0, and that kind of completely changed everything, and then you get rejected. For other people, they just lie outrightly. If you lie, you will get caught. So just state the truth on your application because they would know. Trust me, they always do. One of the reasons why applications for Chevening get rejected is plagiarism. Plagiarism will get you thrown out of the application process so fast your head will spin. You have to understand that the UK and UK universities have a way, they have plagiarism softwares. Even when you succeed with the Chevening and you start studying in the UK, every response, every exam, they will pass your exam paper through a plagiarism software, and it's going to detect whether or not you have copied from someone else. Sometimes you may not even want to copy. You may try to look at past essays, past applicants, the way past applicants wrote their essays, and that kind of, you know, when you read something over and over again, it gets stuck into your head, and then you realize that you start writing in that same line. That's why I advise that talk to past Chevening scholars, current or past Chevening scholars, seek their advice on how to work on your application, but don't read the applications of past applicants. Don't read past applications. It's going to influence the way you would want to write, because your brain will tell you that that is the way, because that person wrote and they succeeded, that is the way you should write. Don't read them at all. You may be caught for plagiarism, and again, there are just some people that copy and paste, and if you copy and paste, your application will be rejected. Another mistake that is commonly made by Chevening applicants is that applicants put duplicate courses from the same university. Guys, Chevening is giving you an opportunity to select 3 courses from 3 universities. Why are you limiting yourself by selecting 2 of your courses from the same university? My advice is always this: take one university that is up there, those kind of universities that you dream of going to, but you know that are often not easy to gain application from, but that is your dream university. Everything is possible. Take one. Take a university that is somewhat here, and then take a university that you know that is there, you meet all of the requirements. No matter how bad it gets, you are more likely to get accepted into that university. So why limit yourself to take 2 courses from the same university to only for you to be rejected? Take 3 courses from 3 different universities. Another mistake that applicants make is that they take 3 completely unrelated courses from 3 different universities. Remember, they require you to choose courses from 3 universities. Common sense should tell you that you choose courses that are related. When I was applying, for instance, my first university was a London School of Economics and Political Science. My course was Media Communication and Development, yeah. And then my second university was SOAS, and it had to do with something on media and development. There was no communication there, I think. And then the third one was University of Sussex. I think it had to do with something on media and social. It had to do with media development and social change. All 3 of my courses focus on media and development. Bottom line, communication for development. I got all 3 of my admissions, but I ended up going to my first choice, which was the London School of Economics and Political Science. So I was sure that no matter how bad it gets, I will get one of those courses, you know. I would get one of them. So that's how you should be thinking when you're applying. Equally important when you're writing, especially the essays, is that you should be careful with your word count. Those questions will require you to write like 500 words, 500 characters, depending. So you should structure your answers in a way that your responses in a way that will fall within the required word count that Chevening is giving you. Bad English. Yes, guys, English is not our first language. For me, at least, English is not my first language. It's not my mother tongue, even though I've studied my whole life in English, but it is not my mother tongue. So it is very understandable when you speak English that is not you know. But that is why you need to have people to review your documents for you, so that they can correct your grammar when you make mistakes. The issue with written applications especially is that you don't get the opportunity. You don't get the opportunity to correct the person that is reading through your application. They just read, and however you write it, that is what they have. But if it's an oral interview, like if you pass to phase 2 and then they are interviewing you, you can correct a person if a person understands you differently. But if you are just writing, you've written and that's it, it's done. So the use of bad English as well, not cross-checking, making grammatical errors, not reading through your application, just writing anyhow in a way that distorts the sense of what you're trying to communicate, can cost you the scholarship. In the last Chevening video I did, which is how to ace your Chevening interview, I'm going to put it somewhere in the description section of this video. I did talk about the fact that one of the tips of acing your Chevening interview is that do not introduce new elements during your interview. Now, when you create your profile, you fill in your biometric data, you write your essays and provide the supplementing documents, and you submit your application. That is a written part of Chevening. If you are successful for stage 2, they will call you, they will shortlist you for interviews. When you get to that interview, the goal of the interview is not to check whether or not you are good for Chevening. They have already seen that you have the potential. The goal of that interview is to ensure that you are the right candidate. You're the person who wrote that application. So do not introduce new elements into your applications unless they ask you. If they have not asked you something completely outside what you wrote in your application, don't introduce new elements. Rather, expatiate, go into details on what you wrote, because the word counts are often small. So go into details on what you wrote on your application. Don't introduce new things. If there's a job or a position that you did not deem it necessary to include during the time when you were writing the application, don't introduce it during the period when you're being interviewed for the scholarship. Don't. If you are already being interviewed for Chevening, it means that they already see the potential in you. They just want to confirm that you're the person who wrote the interview, and they just want to see your energy, your vibe, understand how you think, you know, just speak your brain. That is all what that interview is. That's why mine was like 15 minutes tops. That's what they want to see. So guys, that was it for this video. I've shared with you some of the reasons why your application may have been rejected for this round, but do not be despaired. You can try again. I'm going to take out time in the month of August, September, right up to when the application closes, to make different videos to guide you through the application process. No matter the country where you are, if you are from a country that is eligible for Chevening and you feel that you want me to coach you, don't forget to leave me a comment in my comment section, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Until we meet again, guys, don't forget to create some impact.